Hello everyone, I hope you're having a wonderful day. Today we have a European Grand Campaign for you. Our first round is going to be in the Harpersferry Graveyard. 42nd Pennsylvania is leading the CSA campaign. Colquitt's Brigade's leading the Union campaign, and then we'll go for our second round of Schoolhouse Ridge. This is the fourth event in a row I have seen Schoolhouse Ridge. Please help me. But 12th VA is leading the CSA campaign side, and Free States and Iron Brigade are leading the Union campaign side for that. Before we get into this, thank you to our YouTube members for the support. If you'd like to support, go beneath the video and hit the join button. By doing so, you can get a live stream of all the broadcasts we do. You can advertise your regiment in the bottom of our videos and get an additional broadcast per week. Our regiments for today, on the CSA campaign side, you have the 11th Mississippi, 42nd Pennsylvania, 30th Ohio, Davis Brigade, 12th Virginia, 1st Kentucky, Pickett's Brigade, and the 15th Alabama. Whereas on the Union side, you have the Free States Brigade and Iron Brigade with their new logo there. Colquitt's Brigade, Hampton's Legion, 1st Delaware, 17th Michigan, 9th Corps, 11th Pennsylvania, and the Alabama Volunteer Corps. That being said, our server pop as of right now, it's 246. Union right now up by 12 artillery wise. Union has 1. They're just taking the officer. CSA has 5. So our infantry in balance is going to be 17 in favor of the Union side. And it's going to be a little difficult for CSA to overcome. Frontline reporters. Show you what's going on the ground while we see what's going on in the sky. On the Union side, you got Doug from Colquitt's Brigade, and then on the opposite end of things, you got Flores from the 11th Mississippi. Appreciate these guys so we can see what's going on the ground. We're seeing what is going on in the sky. CSA is moving in quick, and co-commentating with me today, we have Archer. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yep, Archer, 2nd Corps, 6th Louisiana, but things are popping off, so let's get on that.
Yeah, CSA's kind of going this hard Union left, one of the more common strategies we see from them. But Archer, what do you think each side should do in terms of strategy?
I think CSA needs to be aggressive as they're being with their positioning, however, not with their actions. So USA is actually trying to push up on them right here. We'll see how it pans out, especially when you have the storm and they've kind of got the sun behind the mountains, so it's also very dark. This is usually going to favor the attackers because they can just get up on the defenders so quickly. But CSA kind of committing to this far right push, they have themselves a little bit boxed in, and USA is doing a really good job of surrounding them. So I'd say what USA is doing right now is exactly what they need to be doing. They've got the enemy surrounded, they're putting shots into them, not exposing themselves needlessly where possible. And CSA has not attempted any charges or like big attacks. They're just kind of here shooting it out. So if you're defenders, this is exactly where you want.
Yeah, I mean, great job from Union. CSA already shooting in the middle of nothing, unfortunately. But you almost wonder if Union's pushed out this far, CSA could try to charge them out, but Union could obviously respond and just fall back right away, which they took a good amount of hits, and they're kind of doing that now. This map, it's an 8% ticket advantage to the CSA side, so not a terrible amount. Union defense, they have the 9th Vermont with the Enfield, and then they have the 3rd Maryland with the option of the Springfield 55 and 42. So at least half the Union team has the shotguns. CSA, on the other hand, they've got the 22nd Virginia with the Enfield or the Lorenz, and then the 2nd South Carolina with the Enfield and the Springfield 61. So tickets are already slightly in Union's favor as well, so that seemed to work out pretty well for the Union side.
Yeah, and CSA, they're kind of figuring out, all right, this ain't working, so we're gonna try and do something else. I think probably the big trap you fall into, especially on such a small map, is it seems to make sense that, all right, we'll concentrate everybody together, move together, and just fight the Union where they're at. But kind of the trouble you run into is if you don't split up at all, then the Union defenders, they can just stack up wherever, and eventually they'll get around you, and just it allows you to get surrounded pretty easily if you just fully commit on the same exact spot. So now they're starting to spread things out a little bit using the stone wall, reforming on the left side, the right side, kind of spreading the Union defense out. But obviously also with having this many people on the server, not a full server, but still enough that, you can spread your entire team across this, basically shoebox map and still have plenty of reserves where you need them. But, I mean, it's just kind of how it's played, and you're gonna have pushes on the left, pushes on the right, the center. Now this will probably be doing a little bit more for the attackers, especially if the artillery can start hitting. It's gonna be tough for them to see though. Like even the officer, like you can barely see over here.
CSA already, come on guys. There's nothing again.
That was just off. That was way off.
But yeah, I mean, like you said, imagine if this was a full server at 50 more men on each side, and I mean, Union's already guarding the whole width of the map, way more than they need to. But it's going to be very difficult for CSA to kind of outright break through, and that ticket gap is growing in Union's favor.
Not seeing a ton of initiative from, I guess, like, well, combined. So 11 Mississippi, they kind of moved up there halfway up the stone wall, started shooting again, and got slaughtered. So that ain't working. You've got Davis Brigade down here on the low ground, which I don't know what they're doing. Like, they're just shooting at some skirmishers off in the woods, and that really won't get you many tickets.
No, it will not.
Surprisingly enough, though, the tickets are actually getting closer. So somebody on Union is dying somewhere.
Yeah. CSA needs that. Jeez. But yeah, I mean, you would think over. I don't know. I mean, there's an 8% ticket advantage of CSA apparently, which you would think a shootout over the long run would favor them. I wonder if the buck and ball kind of evens that out though, because this is still, I don't know if 33 yards close, but at least for those pellets, the one-shot kill. But
yeah, I don't know. I actually don't know where the ticket trade's coming from here. I mean, the stone wall, like almost all of Union's on the stone wall, and they're not dying. So it's got to be, I guess it's got to be the IB group here up north, because they're the only ones that are really visible. And even they've got defilade on the left side of the line.
Right.
This is quite static.
You'd think with how many people there are, there'd be a little more going on. That's probably going to be more next map, if anything.
Yeah.
But
well, you definitely got more room to move on a larger map. But I mean, I don't know. I feel like you have your team concentrated if you're CSA, and you can't tell the USA spread out, but you got to assume that they're not all just standing at one spot. So if they can coordinate something, push up together, I can probably go better than the shooting's going. I mean, not that it's like going particularly bad, but I don't know. I'm one to kind of speed things up.
Right. I definitely agree with that. And I mean, with the visibility being definitely worse for everybody and the amount of smoke, it could definitely be easier for CSA to move from one side of the road to the other, because we saw CSA push up this Union left side, get aggressive there, but sometimes you like to see CSA, and sometimes you just see it happen too. CSA will charge the Union right side going down this road. They also sometimes like to dip down a little bit towards the south and use that cover there, but you do have a Union guy over here. Acorn and East Carolina. Gosh. So.
Yeah, those don't help your ticket trade.
No.
Yeah, I think you got to take advantage of your attackers. You got to take advantage of them not being able to see you that well, and you just pick a spot. Like, for example, I think if CSA concentrated down that north side road, what's right in front of them is, yeah, it's IB, so you got 20, 25, maybe 30 guys there, but the whole rest of their team has to swing over and help. And in all that confusion, that generally is going to favor the attackers. So unless the defenders can get to their point first, then it's usually better. But as you can see, they're moving up again on this hillside.
Here comes Union.
To shoot, and that didn't work the first time. I have high doubts that it'll work this time as well, especially when they're getting surrounded.
Like,
at least this time there is a unit staying back, the 42nd Pennsylvania staying back on the stone wall, so they can shoot the Union moving into the graveyard itself. The flank's not there. There's
a group behind 42nd. They're just sitting there, not shooting. Those CSA guys, I think, need a little more of a presence up there, because otherwise Union's just going to run up to this like flank of the CSA and just shoot them down the hill.
Yeah. And they do have steam comms in this event, yeah?
Yes.
Okay, so, I mean, it's easier to coordinate attack and defense. It's just a matter of, you know, who's going to do it better. And right now, I mean, based on the ticket trade, it's getting worse for CSA.
Every time
USA
they push
seems
up.
to be doing, yeah, they're doing pretty good on this. I haven't seen an Artie hit come in a hot minute either. Oh, speaking of, there's another one that's a miss.
CSA, I don't know if 5-man infantrymen would really help out CSA side, because, I mean, that one almost hit their own friendlies.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, what's a 9-man balance in favor of Union, 6 on CSA Arty, 15-man infantry in balance. Like, 15 is kind of at that point where it's too much. And, I mean, Arty's got to at least pick up their weight, but they're not hitting anything. You would think we've had Arty for like almost 5 years now. For as small of a map and as static as a map as this can be at times, it is a little surprising to see misses at this point. Now, I know there's new groups and whatnot, right? But
I mean, I guess in fairness, like I'm looking from the artillery's position. You can't see anything. I mean, I'm looking with the zoomed-in view, which is about as far as you can get in with the binoculars as well. It's just, it's nothing. You can see the point marker, and that's about it. That's your biggest landmark. I think that's probably what they're aiming based off of, because all their shots have been just a little to the right of the point marker, but not as far right as it needs to be to hit the stone wall. So I mean, that's tough. That's tough shots. They're also they're on a hill. So they rolled the guns out from the actual position. That one also, they're hitting the same spots.
Yeah,
just missing.
Someone's not telling. I mean, they almost hit their friendlies again. Someone's not telling the Arty that they're missing. But even then, I know they don't know what map they're gonna play until coordination. But I know some groups do it where they have like a little sheet of paper or a document that's like, on this map we're going. If we play Arty, these are the like the fuse length, the elevation, all of that we need to hit a certain spot. And I don't know if those guys have it or not. I mean, you can be a little off even with that, because you know, every little movement thing can affect it, but
Well, the problem is there's no real quantifiable way to measure your left to right, your weightage. So, you know, you get points of reference like, hey, there's this tree, make sure to aim right at this tree. But when you're in a battery that far away and visibility is this low, I don't know a good way for, I mean, the point marker is probably the only thing you can use. And even then, like, someone's going to have to help them walk it over. And when the gun moves after every shot, and you got to roll it back, and sometimes it can shift a little sideways if it's on a hill or, you know, whatever. It can be tough to get it exactly right. So, but they've gotten, like, all these shots have been well short of where they need them to be. They've been too far left. I mean, it ain't working.
He's going up again.
I don't know if I necessarily like that. I mean, you know, you've done well in the ticket trade. It's fine to go down there when you know CSA is pushed up. See, that would have been a good shot.
2 seconds ago.
Yeah, exactly. But that's so tough to get that timing down.
Yeah. Again, they probably are just shooting as fast as they can. But, I mean, yeah, CSA is playing much more conservative on this right side. They're still pushed up, but they're not really pushed up as they were earlier. And I mean, that's when Union really took advantage, is when CSA really kind of pushed forward on this right side. I'd agree. If as a defender you're just trying to kill that clock, and there's no reason for you to pop out like that. Wait for them to push forward, expose themselves, and then collapse in as you've done. Sure, it's boring, but that's war of rights for you. At times.
Winning can be boring, and unfortunately, especially as a defender. You got to be patient. You got to let the enemy, you know, put the enemy into a position they don't want to be in, because they'll go there of their own accord. Like, left Mississippi and this whole right side, they pushed up, got surrounded, got themselves shot to pieces. Right, that was their own doing. You know, they didn't try and charge out. They just got up there, got surrounded, got killed, and had to fall back. Right? That's not necessarily great play by the defenders. It's just the attackers making a mistake.
And they did it twice too.
Yeah.
But oh, that already shot might have got one.
That was almost good.
Almost.
That fence is almost completely gone at this point. Like there's so little left of it. That might actually. Oh, there was a good one. That still went a little long.
I got one or two. Oh, never mind.
Yeah, at least they're starting to
back
get the. Yeah, they're starting to get the windage right though. So that's definitely better.
Wait, when you say windage, like the wind, or what do you mean?
No, so windage just refers to like your left to right adjustments. So it doesn't necessarily refer to there always being wind. You'll hear like a term like Kentucky windage. That basically just means guesstimating where where to hold on a target when you're aiming at it.
Wow. I say generally as a attacker, at least at a minimum, you want to try to hit the defender down to engage by the 30-minute mark, at least if you want to keep a consistent pace throughout the whole round. So, I mean, it's been kind of obvious with the sit and shoot from CSA, but they might need to pick up the pace a little bit. Tickets look even right now. However, the bars are longer than what we see. So, like, someone will hit a new morale stage, like CSA, and they'll stick at the top of engage for a while, and then once they start dropping, the bar will drop through. That's just kind of how it is. So, it looks close in tickets, but I guarantee CSA is still down by, what was it, like a fourth of a stage beforehand?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it's basically about equal then to what it was before.
Yeah.
You know, I really do think that's not a bad change necessarily, but it has really affected how officers play this, whether in pubs or in actual organized events. Like when you get used to seeing, all right, this is how the trade's going right now. It's not going well, let's do something different to fix it, or it is going well, let's keep doing what we're doing. Before, you just kind of had to know, you just had to guess. And if you're right, then then you're up on tickets. If you're wrong, then you may go down a morale stage and be like, well, I thought we were doing good. There's a certain bit of unknowing that was in there that I thought was really interesting to the game. And especially when you're in a close match, you're both taking losses, your defenders, you're like, man, how far are we from breaking? It's like, are we like one out of line from breaking? Or like, have we been trading well and keeping casualties down? Are we like halfway to breaking? You never really knew. You just kind of you just had to read it as it was and think about how the battle's gone so far. Now, you just kind of look up and you go, oh, okay. And then you go back to what you're doing.
Yeah. It definitely makes everything more stressful and more entertaining, I would think. But it also, I would think, makes it feel more historical because it's like you don't know how close your opponent is to losing or whatever. Or yeah, if that made any sense.
Oh, here's something. Here, PB's going out to hit the Union on the north side, so they're going to hit those skirmishers that have been kind of plaguing them for a while.
Not a bad idea there. Get a couple kills here. It was FSB and First Delaware's over here. Some Union up top are cycling over to help them. And you do have a lot of CSA movement towards the center as well.
Oh, please actually go in. Please go in,
yeah,
CSA. This is exactly what you want. Oh, there's okay. 11 Mississippi was waiting for CB.
Oh, please, crossfire.
Stop it. Okay, there we go. Okay.
There we go.
This is much better. This is exactly what you want. They overreact to a probe, and then you get in there. This is much better.
Question is it going to help them with tickets?
Right now, it's not looking like it's trading well. You got some guys just staying back, too. I do not like that.
Dang, they got kind of wiped fast. Yeah, more CSA moving in. I don't know why First Kentucky went away.
They're way too late, though.
Yep.
And you still got like 30 guys on that hillside that haven't moved up. You got DB, PB, 15th Alabama, like all those guys down there. None of them went in.
And no wonder why they got wiped so fast.
Yeah. I like the move. It was there, but they didn't commit. Not everybody committed, I guess.
And it's the question of steam comes because the officers can talk to each other very easily. It's not like they have to run over to the person or whatever. So there's almost no excuse for it, really, unless there was just bad communication. It's what it's been suggested a couple times, and I think it'd be funny is if we could just hop in a Steam call at any random time just to hear what they're saying. A really bad idea, by the way, but it'd be pretty funny.
Here we go. Here's Union pushing off the remnants.
Might as well.
On the north side. I mean, that's a beautiful move as defenders. You know, you just wiped out the whole rest of their team. You know, they got some remnants over here. I mean, that's beautiful ticket trading right there.
Could potentially get a flag too.
Yep. Not that it matters on this small a map, really, but as a morale thing, you know, I know how painful it is, you know, when you hear, hey, our flag's down, you know, someone's going to have to go get it. You know, that's demoralizing, you know. Everybody's going, all right, everybody spawn main, let's go get it.
And I mean, every time you die without your flag, you got the same process, spawn main, try to get back up to the line. Very annoying.
Yeah, this is a very good ticket swing for Union. Now they're up almost half a stage. Timer is, you know, still in Union's favor, I would say, still in Defender's favor. Going well for him.
It's getting a little brighter. Feels anyway.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, the sun's. It's. I guess this is supposed to be morning. Yeah, it's coming from the east, like the southeast. But yeah, we'll start to get a little bit more sunlight here.
Where are they at?
That may actually help the defenders, though.
I mean, CSA hasn't really changed their strategy this whole game.
I'm curious if they'll maybe try the south side.
Yeah.
That's usually kind of your, you know, if all else fails, just charge down the left road.
And they actually got to do it as a whole team this time.
Yeah, exactly. But that has its own set of problems.
Gentlemen, take a knee
Yep.
right behind
If
us.
Union sees it in time, then they'll just crunch that, just like they've been pushing back on the north side. I mean,
I wonder because if you're a defender, right, you're having a long independent shootout like we see on this map. I think I see it on Garland Stand a lot. The Union on Garland Stand, in the shootout, they'll eventually all stop shooting, get their reloads. That has to be a tell for a defender. So I almost wonder if attackers, instead of all stopping to get their reloads, just off a whim, just go in. Sure, you don't have some of your loads, but the defenders won't have loads either. So
there's a certain element to that, and it's something I've considered. Like, I've racked my brain for so many hours trying to think of how to win Garland Stand as USA, and even like the best stuff you can come up with will get you close. You know, I think we had some on Smoke and Steel League that got pretty close. They got to last stand, final push, and it was never enough. You know, there's always there's too much ground to cover, and it just, you know, the trades are just never going to be in your favor that much.
right.
So, you know, anything you can do from, you know, keep one small unit of like 15 guys shooting while the rest of the team holds and gets ready to charge. You know, just to keep up the illusion. Or you'll see, like you talked about, your flag trick, where you leave the flags on one side, everybody charge the other, respawn on the flags, and then you try and push the other way. I mean, just, you got to pull out everything you possibly can, and even then, it's usually just not enough.
It's one of the maps that the devs need to fix. Next update, they said they would do ticket balance fixes. But they said this in one Discord message. In a random chat, and it took arguing with them about stuff for them to actually say it, because the devs don't like ever talking about anything that they do. Not a good thing, but that Garland's is definitely one of those maps. I wish the devs every single month slight ticket balance fixes. If you ask enough people, sure, some people are going to be wrong, but you'll get a general consensus about what maps are biased towards what sides. Even just watching or playing the maps a lot, you can kind of feel how it is. So,
yeah, I mean, like, honestly, you could probably watch maybe 1 or 2 matches on, you know, take your pick. Take Dunker Church, take Garland Stand. Watch 2 matches of it, and you will know exactly, you know, all right, there's a problem here. Right, this should be closer, regardless of how it's played. Like you could have one good match, one bad match, two bad matches, two good matches, as far as how close the tickets are. And no matter what, you're going to see the outcome.
Ooh, what is FSB
wow, that's
doing?
Really weird. Oh, that's bold.
That's very bold. I don't know.
Very bold.
Based on seeing the name tags of both people, it looked like they didn't get a whole lot of hits in doing that. But a lot of them didn't die. I mean,
yeah,
CSA would not have expected that. I would not have expected that.
No.
It's a crazy move.
Yeah. And then they're not really going that far back. They may gear up and try and do that again. That was a nasty volley.
Yeah. I wonder if they'll do it again, if it'll work. But yeah, a Dunker Church, Union needs less ticket advantage on that map. Not by a whole lot, but
yeah, exactly. Like, I guess the thing behind it is most of the maps, it's not the tickets are just absurdly stacked. I mean, sometimes it is, but I feel like when you're defending Dunker, as I've done many times, you just feel like you can make zero mistakes, nothing. And Union, even if they play just okay, they'll still win.
Yep.
Like they can lose all 4 of their flags in the forest, have to fully reset, and like as a defender, it doesn't matter because they have such an advantage ticket-wise. It's just like, okay, big deal. They'll reset and get their flags back, and they'll come back again. And that's nothing really changes. You have to play it perfect.
Here comes some movement from CSA. FSB, I will note, I watched it, but they went up and shot again and got a whole crap ton of kills and no one died. What the heck?
Yeah.
Now Mississippi's moving over there.
Yeah.
And they're falling back. So real good on FSB there.
Yep. Very smart play. And they're falling back. Yeah. If 11 Mississippi notices that faster, that first go around, they have somebody looking over there. That could be really bad.
There's no excuse for the second time.
Yeah, exactly. And now even worse. Now they're going off on their own to try and fight them, and I don't think that's going to go well. They're on this high ground where they're silhouetted, trying to peek around those rocks. And then looking down there, they're just looking into the forest. They can't see where the FSB's guys are at, or First Delaware, and all that. So they don't really know how much they're fighting against. It's actually just like a whole company down there.
You do have CSA starting to move down the other side of the map. Some 12th VA guys are going not on the road, but a little into the wooded area, bushy area. Kind of skirmishing from there. Which, if CSA intends to charge, I don't know if skirmishing over there is necessarily a great idea because you're going to start drawing Union's attention, but it's just too small of a map, so it probably doesn't really matter in the end. And it's bright enough to where Union should kind of see what CSA does.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of CSA are just crouching behind the stone wall right now. Oh, never mind.
Like you were talking about, that kind of lull in the shooting, that's what I'm feeling right now. They're volleying, but is there a purpose to it?
At that smoke, gentlemen.
Yep.
I guess there isn't right now because nobody's really moving anywhere.
I mean, I like charging. I like being aggressive as an attacker. The only time you should really sit and shoot is to reform, or if you're getting a ticket advantage out of it, which is much more of an argument to it with the accuracy update. But
here's another move by FSB. They're going around 11 Mississippi again.
They see him. 11 Mississippi sees him, though.
Definitely. Flores is gunning down a fair few this time, though, so that might have gone worse for him than before.
Good shot. Shoot him, boys. Shoot him as they run.
Oh, this is kind of, as attackers, you start to think of, the clock as your enemy about when you're getting to here, because, USA has not even gone to taking losses. There's 15 minutes left. Like, you come into the point where, even if you're trading well, you might not get them to breaking by the time the timer runs out. And then you're forced to cap the point early, which is the worst scenario you possibly can have, I think, as attackers. Because then you got to sit there and then try and defend the point while you're down on tickets and then get last standed. And that's just awful.
Yeah.
I've legitimately, like, just as a BM thing, I've considered that when I'm defending really well. I was like, just let them take it, and then we'll go last stand them because they have, like, nothing left.
It's so cruel. That's very funny, though.
Oh, All about disrespecting our opponents here.
Of course. Hey, CSA already got an okay shot.
Yeah.
They actually hit the Union stone wall. Got a killer too. Progress.
Yeah, it's only taken them 30 minutes.
Oh my goodness.
30 minutes to get there.
Honestly, even if those, what, 6 guys with infantry, I don't know if it changes a whole lot in this round.
I don't think so either. Not with how it's been played.
Check when ready.
I've seen it once or twice where the whole Union team will just stack the buck and ball regiment.
Oh yeah,
Union's not doing that now, but
we definitely did that before the accuracy update, where your buck and ball is just as effective at 50 yards, 60 yards as it is at 33, and you literally just throw that many more shots to the enemy down range, and that's brutal.
Give them lad boys.
so CSA's gotta charge at some point. They're definitely not taking the point on Union breaking. They gotta hit him the last stand. So you got like what, 6 minutes and 45 seconds to knock him down. Well, you actually have less time than that because when they go in the last stand, you gotta wipe them. So you maybe got like 5 minutes, 5-6 minutes to knock them down the stage. But you're gonna hit final push way before Union will get close to last stand. So got CSA movement going CSA right.
Yep, we got some motion. And that whole mess of people, of course, the CO went down. Now he's back. But it's funny how, like, I've had those games where you just feel like you're the only target on the entire battlefield. You know, like you spawn in as CO, pop in, and you just immediately get killed. Like 8 other people spawn in before you. You're like, all right, cool. We get back in this time, be good, and it happens again. You're just like, man, what is happening?
Can't lead from behind.
No.
Buck.
I'm fairly excited. As of now, I'm supposed to go on 2 trips to see Civil War battlefields this summer.
Nice. Where to?
You guys, is it 2 Corps doing a trip then this year? You're just going on your own then?
We're too far out all over the place, man.
That's fair.
We're freaking everywhere. We got some of us in Georgia. I'm in Arkansas. You got Tennessee, North Carolina, Michigan. Just freaking everything.
That's very fair. Very fair.
There's no good central point.
Oh,
you know
CSA's
what I mean?
mass charging on right side.
Yep. It's not everybody though. This is.
And there's, I will say they have a fair amount of guys on the stone wall on the north side of it, so maybe it's preventing Union from flanking. But like, the thing is that the longer you take to do something as an attacker, not that they mean to charge, but the longer they sit here and shoot, Union's gonna be like, okay, they're over here, and start sending guys from their right side to their left, like we see with CQB shifting over now and kind of plugging in a big hole.
And now, like, you got PB moving up on the north side, but it's too late because Union's already shifted over here to meet it. So, like, I don't know. I don't get it.
Was there PB on Union? Or am I going crazy?
PB.
Okay, get in there on the wall. I'm gonna fire right here on my boys.
There's some PB guys here, aren't there?
Yeah, no, they're on
Well, they're all
CSA.
dying right now.
I thought they're on Union. Am I blanking?
Oh, okay.
Alright, I meant to hit a different button. I hit the pause button, so I paused the
Oh,
recording.
here's something. Look at HL.
What are they doing? PB
They're
was on
crazy.
CSA. I'm crazy. Also, HL's crazy.
It's kind of working though.
I mean, with all the CSA on the right side, we saw this at the beginning of the round when Union first contained the CSA, albeit there was only like 6 to 10 CSA guys over here compared to a whole couple of regiments.
Yeah, and then 9th Corps, Midwest Brigade, and guy from ABC, they went in there too, just having some fun. I mean,
They have the tickets.
yeah, playing loose with it. They've been stuck behind a stone wall for more than 30 minutes now. So they're probably just like, man, just let's do something.
Let's
We're
do
just sitting
something.
here trading volleys, not really doing anything.
I'm sorry for everyone watching the video for the pause. That was funny. So, Archer, what I did was, when I meant to hit a button to let me go see a different screen to see who was on what side, but I hit the
Yeah.
pause button, and I unpaused right as HL was dive bombing across the graveyard.
Oh. It's kind of like enough of something completely different.
Yep.
And just HL just slamming into the stone wall.
CSA hits braking.
Yeah, I mean this is.
They're
It's not unwinnable, I will say, for CSA. There's something here. It's gonna have to be like you charge, you break them, you cap. And for how USA has played so far, I don't see it working. But
they have to make
somehow,
a mistake.
yeah, exactly. If somehow USA just like really gets lackadaisical and just doesn't focus at all, maybe.
I commend you for putting up.
That's the thing. Kind of back to that ticket balancing. Like with Garland's, it's like CSA has to make a big mistake, and I don't feel like maps should be like that.
No.
I feel like if a side plays perfect, they should win. Which perfect is hard as Union on that map, but
yes.
That's why I'm almost starting to like the no Steam chat events. At least watching them. I don't know about actually like leading and playing in them, but the no Steam chat events on these high pop servers, because like we were mentioning, right, on this map, right, on 250 or at 280 right now, Union can defend the whole width of the map, and a lot of these skirmish maps are starting to become like that. And if you have an event that doesn't have a Steam chat, the defensive line cannot react as quickly to a charge on one of the flanks or the other side. So it allows a lot more
Here goes
wiggling room.
FSB again.
Yep. And CSA...
It's become a trademark thing. And they're going to get away with it again.
Yep.
That's just... Oof.
I mean, props to them.
Yeah, absolutely. And, like, that's good. However, at this stage of the match, I'm not sure I like it. Just because, you know... You're doing good, you know, and that attack went good. That's great. That's great. But your quarter morale stage from breaking, and if something goes wrong, right? Say the CSA was ready for that, you know. Say they had a scout over on this north side saying, "Hey, you got some guys moving on your right side," and you got some dudes that'll just wreck FSB, you know. Get a nice little ticket trade there. Oh, suddenly you're down a bunch of guys over there. Well, now they get some momentum. You move up on the hillside. Something goes... You know, you need a few dominoes to fall your way, but that's not out of the realm of possibility. Or you send your officer to Rambo, and he gets killed like that. So.
I guess. That realm of possibility is definitely very low chance, though, based on...
I mean, you need something, though. You need
right,
something
that's fair.
to get you going. Some traction.
Dude, the Union blob here on point CQB with the whole crap ton of them. Man, I'm waiting for Artie to hit that, please. Oh my goodness. So many of them.
And, I mean, based on the stone wall itself, like that north side of the stone wall, they have hit there, or hit close to there before. So, I mean, if they could do it again, like right now, that'd be really good.
Please. We need the announcers to curse it and make it happen. It's like,
There's SB again. It's just...
I mean, CSA has not really reacted very well to it. This is the 4th time now?
Something like that, yeah. And meanwhile, like, the whole rest of CSA is behind the stone wall, which I don't know.
I don't know what CSA is doing at this point with the sit and shoot. Hey, there's no way CSA thinks they can win outright on a Union breaking. Hey, they're running out of time. You gotta charge in at some point with your whole team. They've done it once, and even that was a half charge. Yeah. I mean, who knows if it'll work? I don't know if it will. Oh, that fence just got blown up and it's shooting all the way. Oh my!
I went flying. I went all the way across the river.
I did, but I wonder if they think they're gonna try to outright. I mean, it's almost at this point they're gonna have to try to win on a Union breaking.
Yeah, I mean,
a lot of time.
Like, Union will break. It's kind of a matter of time. But it's like, all right, but do you think you can still win that? Because we've seen what, you know, the CSA charge looked like, and unless it goes drastically better, then that ain't gonna fly. And I don't know.
I mean, even if they win, Union main spawn is 30 seconds away from the point.
Close.
And Union will at least have time to get a wave in there. but who knows? 4.5 minutes. Surely CSA's got to charge within the next 30 seconds. You got to give yourself time for at least 2 charges here. Not a one and done.
Maybe. I don't know. Nobody really seems like they're ready for it.
Yeah, shake that shit.
Because the moment Union hits braking, there's no point in sitting and shooting. At this point, you're not going to shoot the Union down the last stand.
No.
So you got to charge in at this point. Because it's the only shot you're going to get them down the last stand.
Let's focus, lads.
See where it happens.
Exactly.
Union's definitely more concentrated on the north side, so that's where they're thinking it's going to come from. It's a split, but they're all going together.
No shot. Who could have thought?
Oh!
Will CSA be rewarded with the win? Here we go. I like that they're charging in.
Yep, they're going to win that south side pretty easily, but this north side, though, where
One
Union's
CSA flag
concentrated,
down.
this might get smacked. And already fired and missed again.
Even
Needed
if they
that.
would have shot a little closer, that knocks down Union. Union countercharging, at least on the north side.
Yeah, that south side needs to get in there quick, but I mean, there's just going to be too much Union
Oh,
left.
north side's dead for CSA. That was...
Yep. Here comes PB. All of them over there. Some 12 Virginia. There's not enough of them coming in though. It's a good play.
Wow.
I mean, you're working with imperfect information. You know, we can see where the Union was established and ready, which was on that north side. And if anybody could see that on the attackers, they've been like, oh, well, just send the south side in. They'll take that corner. Union will shift to meet it. Then we go. But, I mean, that was just, yeah, they're just too concentrated.
Yeah, a little unfortunate there for CSA, but, I mean, a split charge is... it's going to be hard regardless. But
Yeah.
CSA's down 3 flags right now. Final push won't cause the black timer to drop. At least I think it's too low.
Yeah.
TJ, you just killed so many.
And the pistols push them back.
But really good round from Union overall.
I mean, the imbalance is helping, we'll say.
16 off the rip.
Yeah, that's,
21 including artillery imbalance.
Yeah, that does help.
It's too much. Rematch, right? We'll talk to the SSL admins and start the review process. So, I mean, you got any thoughts as... I mean, unless anything crazy happens, Union should get away with a win at this point.
Yeah,
I
I don't think. I mean, Union played this well. I will say, I don't think they played it particularly well, but they just, you know, what they had to work with, they got. And, you know, for having most of your team on the stone wall for the majority of the match, that usually doesn't work out, especially if this map's in the daytime without the rain and party's hitting where it needs to. Like, the CSA didn't even put any guys on the other battery. Like, they didn't even put guys on the battery that's on the south side that can hit this stone wall on the other one. So they fully committed on the north, even with the artillery, but those shots were hitting. And, yeah, I mean, yeah, there's final push. I mean, this is just
I don't think they're going to charge. They don't want to lose the tickets for their campaign. I don't think. This is not the worst I've seen.
DB's going, and USA's charging
I
out.
honestly don't blame them. Union going in.
No, yeah, why not? Yeah, they're all just trickling down that south road. And even the north side's coming in for Union.
I can't blame Union. I mean,
Nope.
you're not losing. Might as well
Nope.
try to kill them down a little
Exactly.
more.
I mean, CSA, they can't even get to point in the amount of time that's left, like 5 seconds. Get in there.
Holy crap. I mean, yeah, I'd agree with you. This is more kind of an indictment on poor CSA play. I mean, it's a rough situation from them with just... It's a really tiny map with a lot of people on it. The most you can really do is blob charge and pray that you make it through, which I think is a little unfortunate, which is why I think they need to lower the skirmish cap size, at least for public matches. maybe private matches, but yeah. Union did what they needed to do. CSA had some miscommunication throughout the round. It at least seemed like it, or maybe not miscommunication, but groups just went late, whatever, who knows. Yeah, good first round. And we're now going to see Schoolhouse Ridge. Yay! It's really funny. It's like everyone, all the events play a certain map around the same time, and then they're like, "Oh, we played this map recently. We're not going to pick it." And then everyone's like, "Oh, we haven't played this map in a while." It was Anderson's and Hagerstown a week or two ago. But anyways, Schoolhouse Ridge should be good. We'll see you all shortly for round number 2. And here we are with the second round, Schoolhouse Ridge. It's a 24% ticket advantage to the attacking CSA side. Options for weapons for the CSA, they have the 6th Louisiana with the option of the Enfield and the Springfield 55. And they have the 13th Virginia with the option of the Springfield 55, Enfield, and the 42. Meanwhile, Union Defense, on the other hand, they've got the 32nd Ohio with the Lorenz or the Springfield 61. And they have the 126th New York with the Enfield. Server pop as of right now down to 260, but that's still pretty dang good. Inbounds is 9 towards the Union side. Alabama Volunteer Corps and the 11th Pennsylvania switched from Union to CSA, so appreciate the help with that. Artillery-wise, Union has 6 on it. Meanwhile, CSA has 3. So, all things considered, it's a 5-man infantry inbounds in favor of the Union side. And yeah, Archer, in your opinion, how does each side want to play this map?
Sure. So you've actually kind of seen this has become sort of the new meta on this, but CSA normally would want to try and take this CSA right side on the south part of the map, go up here to where we call the Tree of Life, which is ironically just a tree of death. There's so much death that happens over here when you push over this way. But CSA normally will just kind of ride the zigzag fence down under Arty cover. Arty would blow holes in the fence, blow holes in the Union line, and they'll try and take over here. So Union kind of set up for what CSA traditionally does. But as of recent, CSA has really wanted to just kind of take this north side because, you know, it's usually not defended, and here it's literally not defended. There's nothing over here for USA except the battery just looking down at them. So I'm a bit of a fan of the change. You know, you kind of get used to playing a certain map a certain way, and CSA does have more tickets on this one. They have a pretty good advantage. So I actually like playing it a little bit different. I don't like that USA is just continuing to stay over here. You know, when you realize that, all right, they're not coming, they're down the other way, you know, you're just going to sit there where CSA already can just shoot at you with impunity. Now, granted, you know, there's only a few guys on those guns, but I don't know. That kind of hurts me. In
they hit a good shot.
So, yeah.
There we go.
They're just going to keep coming in. You know, like they can actually see them. You know, shocker. When you can see the enemy, you can hit them. You know.
One of the Schoolhouse Ridge matches I watched this week, they all merged at this point. The CSA already was cooking. It was, I think it was the Valley Conquest one I was watching last night. But
well, there was that one, and there was ours. There's the Smoke and Steel one a while, but or no, maybe it was Manassas. Or maybe it was Sunday night.
No, we had Sunday night. For me, anyways, Sunday night fights.
Yeah,
Ghost of
right.
Antietam Wednesday. Boy Howdy last night with Valley and number 4.
Yeah, I remember specifically because you had a great shot of some of our battery guys hitting them at the tree, and my battalion from 6LA was up there, basically holding them in place. There's like 10 dudes up there, and the whole USA team didn't want to push out at them because they weren't sure how much it was.
I remember that.
And it held them there for like 2 really good arty shots, just pummeled them.
So, at this point, right, Union, they've got a pretty long and strong defensive line. I don't know if CSA is going to want to charge that. I think also why CSA don't want to charge down this Union left CSA right side like they traditionally do is because, sure, they have the snake fence, but a lot of this is wide open field, And when CSA just huddles on the snake fence pushing down, Union can spread out on the snake fence along the road and just shoot into kind of the blob CSA going down the fence. It's really bad. So at least going CSA left gives them a lot more cover going through the woods there and whatnot. But Union's pretty entrenched right now. I would not be surprised if after a couple more minutes CSA caps the point to force the Union out.
Yep, agreed. And if I'm CSA, and this is kind of what I'm looking at, is a giant line of Union standing up there, that's probably the first thing on my mind. Is like, I don't want to just attack that, you know, because if you pick one side of the line to charge, then they just fold it back and you get shredded on your way across. If you go down the middle, then you get surrounded. They just fold the left and the right side and you get destroyed on the road. It's really not a great way to attack it, at least with the map boundaries as they are. So. Yeah, I just this long-range shootout won't do you enough. CSA also has to worry about Union artillery if they can get their guns facing down, which I think they have already gotten a few of them. So now they can basically shoot into a hillside, bury it in the hillside with a long fuse, and just as long as they're accurate, they'll blow up, you know, big chunks out of the CSA lines.
True that.
There is one more defilade that CSA could move up if they wanted to, especially the units kind of in the center. They can take a little bit more ground. They'll be on point, but you know if that's the intention anyway, you know, no big deal.
Right. It seems like that is not the intention though, as of now. Which who knows? It was actually so at the end of the last round with CSA sitting in their main spawn when they hit final push. I know at least people playing in this event will remember, but it was a Piper Farm match. It was like a month ago, it feels like now. It might have been longer than that. But Union was winning the map, as they normally would. And the Union team, with 5 minutes left on the clock... Nice Union already shot. Union just sat back on the stone wall that they like to go up on Union left in the little cornfield. They just sat on the stone wall and just shot it out with the CSA for the rest of the round, even though they were up on tickets. The tickets were even. They didn't try to cap or win the game when they could have. That was the most insane thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, those are bizarre.
But I mean, Union ended up losing the campaign. This is the start of a new season, anyways. At least. Last week was the new start, I think it was. But yeah, good hardy shots from both sides so far. It's good to see.
But, you know, as you can see, you know, when most of the line is either in formation or at worst skirmishing, I mean, that's not going to win you a ticket trade. I mean, USA, they're down on tickets, but maybe, you know, they're down an eighth of a stage, if that.
Less.
And CSA isn't even down that. So, I mean, this is not a good long-term strategy. And, you know, all this time that CSA is using, you know, for the early cap, and yeah, like maybe the ticket trade doesn't get any better if USA stays there, but at least the black timer stops.
Oh. Who done do it? JD and First Kentucky. Mostly First Kentucky is on point capping. However, it doesn't look like everyone is moving forward, so I wonder if they're actually going to try to hold it. When you capture a point in a situation like this, as an attacker, you need to try to hold it as long as you can. You just don't want defenders to retake it right away and have that black timer keep going down without paying a price for it. So,
yeah, the other thing I'm kind of scratching my head at, CSA also has a small unit up northeast. I guess they're, yes, 12 VA. So I guess they're keeping Union artillery off their guns. But I don't know. I guess it's not that many of them.
yeah.
When USA starts to come out to this point, though, depending on how they do it, I think they have a good opportunity to actually take the point back and stay up on tickets as long as they do it together. So, like, here's something bad. So, the 15th Alabama guys, I don't know what they're doing on this west side. They're about to get caught out by a whole, basically 2 Union companies. They're going to get shredded.
That's half of them.
That's really bad. So, you don't want that. And also, CSA, you know, they're they're staying back in these positions. They keep stretching to their left. They've been stretching to their east, as USA's done the same, and they need to really start thinking about, all right, well, how do we get our guys on point? Because USA's matching them, and they got a unit moving down the road to point, and they've got stuff moving on the west side of the creek, which CSA has maybe, I don't know, 15 guys over there now. Now they're starting to move, so that's good to see.
FSB is starting the decap for Union, but yeah, generally the counterattacks work right. You got the gold timer, 20 minutes for a defender battle ready cap. Black timer stops, however, if Union retakes, black timer will continue as is. The thing is that if the original defending team is down on tickets and they retake the point, all down tickets, they will go up to the percentage of tickets that the attackers are at. So if Union were to say hypothetically retake it right now, they'd regain a fourth of a morale stage tickets right now, and obviously they would appreciate that. That's why at CSC you want to try to actually hold the point. You don't want Union retaking because CSA is going to give Union free tickets right now, which I don't know if CSA can necessarily afford that with the very slow strategy that they're doing. But on top of that too, when you hold the point, Union's going to eventually have to charge into you, which means everyone's losing tickets. And that's really the big point of a counterattack as an attacker, is trying to bring everyone down. Sure, you might be even coming out of it as an attacker, but if you're even with the defenders and tickets, you're doing perfectly fine. But kind of confusing start here, at least confusing cap from CSA.
And now, like, I don't necessarily hate giving them the point back, but now you got USA further out, right? You got them closer. So, like, to me now CSA needs to be moving up to that next defilade, right? Especially on the east side of the road, or moving into the woods on the west to kind of start surrounding them. Because now USA is going to want to do exactly the same thing they did before. They'll pull back to their good positions, or presumably good positions, and just start shooting from long range again. Play the time.
That's a very fair point. It looks like DB 15th Alabama guys are capping the point again. So I guess to your point, yeah, they're pulling Union out. They're doing a good part there, but I just don't know why they're not trying to hold the point. Because, I mean, you could see a good chunk of Union has kind of fallen back to their original defensive spot. HL was in the woods to the CSA right. At least where the CSA line is, CSA right. But they're now backing out. I mean, Union regained about a fourth to a third of a morale stage of tickets there, which...
Yeah, but you can see now that the trade is now going against them. So, the ground that CSA covered over there and pulling Union out of their positions, because, firing at, 300 yards, maybe you're hitting somebody, maybe you're not, but firing at 200 yards or less, then, like, you're definitely hitting somebody. Somebody in the line is hitting someone, and sometimes that's the game you got to play. So I like what CSA is doing now, so they're kind of doing the same recap. But now they've got this PB group with some JD and First Kentucky over here on the west. And it's not so easy for Union to come in and recap now, because what made that so just paltry was they just rolled up on the road. They formed a little town on the creek side, and they just took it back. No big deal. Now, though, if they do that same thing, which I think they're trying to do, now you've got a unit to deal with, and not just, empty space.
To me, though, it feels like if you're just going to cap point, not hold it, wait for them to push themselves out, retake it, and then kind of still be out, and then just retake it again, you should just try to continue holding it.
Now, see here, right here, this is exactly what you want to CSA. So all of Union is collapsing in the middle, except for, I think, is it HL again? Yeah, so HL is going west. A whole rest of Union is about to get themselves boxed in by all of CSA as the worst position you want, to just shove yourselves into basically just a position where you're getting shot on all sides. Maybe they're going to try and push through, but if CSA collapses onto them, this is not going to go well. You can see they're starting to do. Love Mississippi's starting to crush in. 42nd PA is still staying out. But then Union's got some guys staying out. They've got First Delaware staying back in the south with their flag, which is smart. You keep the flag safe. You get kind of a messy fight, and messy generally is going to favor the attackers, although technically Union's the attackers at this particular time, but even still, the ticket trade, you know, Union's losing tickets, and they're not taking the point back, although they may be able to with HL coming in. They did looked like a pretty good wipe on the west side. Now they're trying to close in. CSA down 2 flags.
40 seconds.
That's the 6th Louisiana flag. That makes me sad. Makes me really sad. Take better care of my flag, you scrubs.
If 42nd and 30th go in for CSA, they should be able to hold it, but every second that goes by, Union's picking up more spawns with their flags. They're going to take it back.
They're going. They're a little slow on it, but I think they'll have the numbers to get it back in CSA's favor and save the CSA flags.
I don't know.
Do it right.
Union's got reinforcements coming down from the southwest south.
They do.
Yeah, you little scum. Yeah, you ginger prick.
They get one of them.
Flag.
Yeah, shut up.
Oh, never
Here
mind.
comes that first Delaware.
Brace here, brace on the fence, HL, brace on the fence.
One of those down flags was picked up there. It looks like they're going to get the nice kill by Yeater there.
Yep. So, and then now you kind of have what you didn't want to happen as CSA. Now you got one group left trying to save all the flags. They got them all up, but now USA is going to come crashing down from the spawn. They've got way more numbers on point now. And now as 42nd PA, you are isolated. You're all alone out there. And they're not getting out as they really
Nice
should.
shot from somebody.
Yep.
Union Arty, I think. Now they're starting to run out. Which you could see. It's close. Union retakes, regaining a good amount of tickets. 42nd's trying to, and 30th are trying to hold this with a bunch of respawns.
This is very bad.
I will say, CSA contested the cap. I appreciate that. It brought everyone down to a lower battle ready, which is good to see, although this finish from CSA is not looking great. Yeah, Union's going to get all of these flags down. Unless they gun it out. You can see flag bearers, they start to run out, stop, and turn around. If you... I think they mean to stay there, but as a side note, if you are retreating as a flag, keep retreating until you're out of bounds or you see a friendly in front of you. Don't listen to anybody behind you. There you go.
I think that's going to be all 4 flags wiped for CSA.
So, 5-minute despawn timer on those. You do have some CSA running up the rear, though. First Kentucky.
Yeah, I mean, it's not a bad play necessarily. But, you know, here's the funny thing. And you had mentioned this, I think, last round, that generally, as the attackers, you want to get defenders down to engage at around 30 minutes. They're on track for that.
Yep.
So, despite losing all 4 of their flags, despite, you know, getting absolutely demolished by the Union there on the retake, it really doesn't matter because the tickets are so skewed your way on this map that you still have more tickets than them, even though they've won the fights. This has got to be kind of one of those things you scratch your head, you know, as you know, playing Union, looking at it after, like, what did we do wrong? Nothing really. You didn't do anything wrong. It just you can't do it right enough almost.
Yep. Tickets are the only thing that matters. Doesn't matter how great you perform on the field. It's like, as you were saying with Dunker Church, right? You can do glorious things as a CSA defense, wipe all 4 flags in the back of the woods, but, you know, it almost doesn't matter in a sense. So, those flags will despawn in about 3 to 4 minutes at this point. For now, CSA dies. All of them got to spawn back at main, so most likely CSA is going to probably just keep a shootout for the next couple minutes, I would assume. Maybe they charge in, who knows. But, never know.
It might surprise us. I don't know.
Keep things a little spicy here.
Erebus. Catorx. Shift to the left.
Nice CSA already shot.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a nice shot. Those guys are going to respawn very quickly, though. But it's not like they've got anything better to shoot at, so
Yeah.
get some kills while you're at it. Union hits engaged,
Yep.
and some of the Union's
30
pushing
minutes.
forward into the creek.
Yep.
CQB's pushing down there.
Now, I don't necessarily. I mean, I get why they're doing it. They're trying to make sure the flags stay down for CSA, but also fighting from in the open on a road into a wood line that's in shade. Generally not going to go too well for the team in the open. The shade, shadows are your friend, and especially when you have these big, these masses of trees and brush and all that, if you can get good positions in there, you're going to start winning the shooting battle.
I don't know if you saw, there's a rebel in a bush right by CQB who pushed up into the creek, and it took them about 10-15 seconds before they saw him, and then the guy got out. The CSA guy ran out. Tater. It was pretty funny. You got some CSA flanking far Union right. 42nd, 30th PB.
See, the only thing that puzzles me about that is, so you're probably not doing this thinking that you're going to recover your flags. Fair enough. But now you're going so far away from your spawn that when your flags do spawn in, it's going to take them forever to get to you.
They're about to despawn too, I think. At least in the next 30 seconds.
They're shifting right, Lucian.
CSA hits engaged. See, I don't know too much about history, but it feels like if it's raining this much, I don't know how well the rifles would actually work. Maybe they did work.
Yeah, I mean, there's always chances of misfires, percussion caps being bad, or powder just not igniting. There's always a chance of it, and I remember they used to have that in the game.
What?
And yeah, no, you don't remember that? It was for a brief time.
I joined middle 2020.
I mean, that's when I was in.
Huh.
So
I might have just forgotten.
Right, I think it was it was either the end of 2020 or beginning of 2021. Like, I was fairly new to the game. And I remember I would load my weapon and pull the trigger and just click. I'd be like, what the heck? And then I'd have to press reload again. I'd be like, all right, well, that was weird. And, part of that, there was a reload glitch at the time. So I don't know if it was like that, but I could have sworn they had that in the game at some point.
Huh.
Like where you actually had misfires. I was like, that's weird.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me, honestly, because I probably would have been just like, oh, I forgot to reload or something like that. I don't remember too much about those early days outside of the first War of Rights event that I played in, where I recorded, where there was a Rebel 2-Corps admin or officer who was pretty pissed. Have I showed you that video?
Yes.
Yeah.
No, you did.
That is glorious times. But man, I will say though, despite the amount of critique I give to the dev team, the amount of stuff they at least have done in terms of like game crashes, being able to switch map packs with no crash issues. It used to be where you would have to pick Antietam and be like, okay, we have to pick 2 Antietam maps. Because the only way to switch a server is you have to go to the G-Portal settings and then restart the server.
Or especially like early days, I remember that like I've always had a pretty good computer. And I remember one time I was in the middle of an event and I crashed. I was like, hey, I crashed. Is that... like, what do I do? Like, I'll just join back in. That stuff happens all the time. I'm like, what? Like, okay, whatever. You just kind of got used to it, and then when it would crash, you just kind of like, all right, well, I hope I was in formation when I crashed. Don't want to cost my team.
Yeah.
It's almost like just like a random death. It's like just I've been stricken by a horrible heart condition.
Just like the random Marty shots.
Yeah.
Oh man.
I was around for that for like 1 week. like the week I joined, I think they released Artie, so I played like maybe 1 or 2 events with the random Artie. One of those was on Burnsides.
Oh.
And yeah, that was my first event ever. I just remember like randomly just an explosion just rocked next to me. I was like, whoa, what was that?
Be kind of funny if they still had that, but
I think it'd be kind of fun, but just be able to turn it on or off. Have it be like an admin setting. It'd be kind of fun.
Who would have thought another option in the admin server settings? What else are they going to take away? They took away snow. Apparently, you could go into the terminal and like crank gore to the max, so when someone died, they would like explode with blood.
Just
Apparently that got
that'd
removed.
be great.
Spread it out. Spread it out.
It's like it's like with EA and Madden, they won't let you make your own teams. They're starting to, at least in college football, but like Madden, you can't make
Right.
your own teams. You're killing the creativity.
All filled with
Anyways,
passive cycle.
but that's an argument for a different day. But Union's fallen back to their original positions. Union is down about almost a fourth to a third of a stage, roughly. So it makes sense for Union to turtle again, because if CSA does cap, they could retake and regain some tickets back. They're doing very good on time as of now. I mean, CSA kind of had to keep the camps up, but also CSA hasn't had their flags for a hot minute, so
Yeah.
they have them now.
And that's really the only thing that's been the saving grace for Union, is that keeping those flags down has really bought them probably about 8 or 9 minutes, since that happened. And in that time, yeah, they've been losing on the tickets, but not bad enough to where this is just completely without a reach.
But CSA does the capping again, and I mean, as long as they defend it and are able to get their flags out, it could be a really good cap on their part. Because I mean, the last cap outside of losing the flags was really good for CSA, but
We'll see. I mean, CSA, I think they're a little bit less. Well, they're less prepared, but they're also a little bit more prepared. So you can see the CSA left, right on their east side. They are more in that further up defilade, and they're also more concentrated under the point itself. Now, if Union wants to push in immediately, which looks like that's what they're wanting to do, they'll want to try and get around all of that. If you just run headlong straight into it, then you're going to shred your tickets and you're not going to get the point back. But it looks like that's kind of what they're doing. So CSA has kind of got this big line formed up, and USA is just charging headlong into it. I don't know how well this is going to go for them, especially when they stop and shoot. And
yeah, I don't like it. You always, as you just mentioned, you always want to try to get around the flank and then collapse in on the side. If you do a big charge, spread out charge against the whole enemy line, that's just leaning into the defender's advantage. So,
yeah,
Union's stopping. They're not charging in.
That's
I guess
odd.
they want the shootout. Great for CSA, mind you, because everyone's losing tickets right now.
Yeah, no, this is really good for CSA, because they're already established on the point. The only thing that could threaten them right now, and they may not be able to tell because of the hill, is IB has a good spot on this east side that if they roll over that hill real quick, they're gonna slam into the whole sea. If they can time it up well, they can slam into them, because they're not ready on that east side. I don't think. Here they go. They're starting to move a little bit.
Oh my god, look at the rebel bodies. Fire into them, lads.
They just moved up the chute. Never mind.
One man spacing.
Well,
Those of you on the right, shift to the left. You're too far around. Never mind. It's fine.
CSA was looking that way with the line, so it seemed like they were maybe anticipating that. At this point, two things to mention. One, gold timer started at 12 minutes instead of 20 minutes since Union wasn't engaged instead of battle ready. And also, I think a thing to note is that with the counterattack, the original defending team's tickets, which is Union, don't really matter. Because if they're down, they're going to go up to the original attacking team's tickets, which is CSA. The only time Union tickets here kind of matters is if they drop to their last stage of final push, which they are considered the attackers now. So they'll hit final push instead of last stand. Similarly, CSA is now considered the defending team, and they can hit last stand. And if Union does force them in the last stand, they're not going to. But if they did, they could retake the point and automatically win. Anyways, Iron Brigade fell back off that right side.
CSA's pushing. Oh boy.
I don't mind it.
I don't either, but I need the rest of the team to go in.
I think CSA friendly already just shot and hit the front of that.
No, I like the push, but I don't like 42nd PA staying back. I don't like that.
Yeah, either all go in or don't.
There they go. You need to commit.
Stand, boys. Hold them off.
They're not charging in. They're just going up and
Oh,
taking
just going
shots.
up to shoot. They're still doing okay.
Their counter-charging Union is.
Some of the Union flags are down. They're getting them up.
Yeah, I mean, this was mentioned last round, but with FSB, for example, but CSA just sent like a fourth to a half of their team forward and got wiped. If Union defeated them in detail, they could have continued pushing forward, but it looks like actually a lot of Union got wiped, and CSA is going to wipe through
There we go.
this.
So this is shoe on the other foot. This is exactly what happened to CSA on that first recap.
Just spawned and died. You're a
Or
fucking sea
second,
turtle.
I
Get
guess.
fucked.
The Union is actually going to get their flags out. So,
USA flag state. We help. We help.
yeah, they'll get out of there.
I don't know if you heard it. Someone said, you just spawned and died. Haha, you're a sea turtle.
You're a sea turtle.
I've never heard that
man.
before.
No.
Yeah, good on Union, though, for getting the flags out.
I wish they would have taken them up the hill, though, because CSA's pursuing.
Which, good on CSA for that.
Yep, absolutely. Keep up the pressure. I like it.
Oh yeah, gentlemen.
Union flag's got to make a decision here. One of them staying, two of them staying in the mix. One of them's running up the hill, but some Iron Brigade guys flanked that. So nice on their part. Where's out of bounds for Union? Oh my goodness.
It's really far
Oh,
to the south. Yeah, they still got a whole nother segment.
They're
to
holding.
go past.
Holy crap. I guess when you have
Yeah.
4 flags, CSA only got
spawning in
2 up
dudes,
here.
yep.
Which
Yep.
CSA got on now watch for that. One of their flags keeps getting killed.
I need to keep my slave.
USA's kind of trying to go in.
Pull back, guys. Get off. Shoot the fucking officer.
I guess you don't have anything to lose necessarily because your ticket's already down in the first place and you're counterattacking. And CSA's they're happy to pull off. They've got the whole rest of their team formed back up, and then they're gonna go in. So you gotta, you see like the wrestling matches where the tag team partner is like been hurting, and he jumps out and he tags the other dude in. That's what's happening right now. So Flores and Lebanon, Mississippi, they're going out there.
There's a fair amount of Union guys coming from Maine, so
Yeah.
I don't know. How far out are they gonna? Okay, they're stopping.
Yeah.
Don't want to spread too far out of CSA.
No.
Short, but it's
That kind of a funny situation because they're gonna have these guys coming from Maine on their left and behind them, and but you want to focus on the enemy flags in front of you.
Yeah.
So that might be a little bit of a mess they're in. But they're being supported though, so it's not just them up there. 42nd PA moved up next to them. They're pretty fresh. Rest of the team getting their numbers up. I really need some arty shots to come in right now for CSA. I mean, the whole Union team just right there. Somebody's got to see that.
Would be a beautiful thing. CSA is really spreading out here. I mean, this is the thing, right? War of Rights, each side are supposed to, anyways, have a similar number of players. If you're Union and you're really blobbed up like this, and you see CSA encircling you, that means they're probably thin anywhere in that line. So Union could, if they want, off the rip, just hit one of these sides or just go straight up the center. And they might have a chance at wiping a good amount of CSA. I got a little over 4.5 minutes now.
There's actually really good coordination here, I think, by CSA.
Yep.
They've got Union surrounded on both sides. They still have a strong front. That way Union can't just bust straight through to their northeast. And, the more surrounded they get, they're going to keep losing the gunfight. And eventually CSA may just charge them out and just
Holy
finish them.
crap. Yeah, you can't... If you're Union, you got to charge out before they can really get around you, like you just mentioned, Archer. Because other than that, you're just going to get shot up like they are.
I think funny enough, a lot of this, I don't think this is necessarily, you know, people talking to each other and be like, hey, can you guys push up on that side? Yeah, we'll push up on this side at the same time. This is what you call it coordination by context. So you see what your team is doing, and you think, all right, what can I do to help these guys doing that over there? Like, well, if I'm JD or if I'm PB over here on this west side, it's like, oh, we got them surrounded. I see a friendly flag on the southeast. I see we got friendlies here in the middle. Let's keep moving up this creek. Let's keep folding their flank. The Hardy's firing in there too. If you're 15th Alabama here in the center or DB, up to here
Union's trying to punch out.
But yeah, it's just too late at this point.
Yep.
Though they don't have enough numbers. They've been shot up too bad.
I can't imagine.
CSA, yeah,
I can't imagine being a Union leader, being like, "What is going on?"
yeah.
11 Mississippi's now charging in.
This is,
Both flanks are actually.
they're just surrounded.
And
There's almost, funny enough, there's almost a school of thought even that, if you're CSA and USA just wants to keep spawning in there, you just kind of let them,
yeah,
and like you let them spawn in, they never reload, they never get bayonets on, and they just keep dying over and over. You just farm tickets.
so 2 minutes, over 2.5 minutes on the gold timer. Union flags despawn in 5 minutes, so Union's not getting it back for this counterattack unless they pick up the flags. I mean, CSA, they just kind of need to sit in between the point and the flags. Maybe keep a couple guys on the flags to prevent Union from getting them, but I mean, it should almost be no reason why CSA loses this counterattack. Of course, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I think we'll start to see CSA move down the road, realizing that Union's coming from main spawn, and they should get there in enough time, hopefully. If not, like, this is still well within CSA's grasp, I think. Even if they can't hold this counterattack for some reason, or actually, you know what? I wonder. They're actually kind of moving more to where Union started, the positions on the right. Your traditional take at the beginning of this match. I think they're going to let them take it back, either because of casualties for the campaign or something.
Yeah.
I don't know. This is kind of where the fun of the campaign and the fun of the round collide and conflict. Because, if I'm your average private, or NCO or whatever, and I'm here to have some fun, win some games, I want to win the match, And right here, what they're doing, this is not winning the match. This is winning the campaign. And while that's fun. That's fun for the guys coordinating the campaign. It's not fun for Joe Schmo and all his buddies.
It's a little more fighting. This is on track to be a pretty long event. We're an hour and 20 minutes just into the actual rounds. That's not including mustering, among other things. But yeah, they're going to let them retake. I mean, for a campaign, it makes sense. CSA should probably still win this game. But now both sides are very low engaged. Black timer continues. And Union flag still down, mind you. So I think it was. I'll mention this after this. We got a charge. Lone Mississippi's going in. Oh, remember, all these Union guys, they die. They spawn main. Alright, most of the Union backed off. CSA charge kind of not fully there, but there was a house-divided campaign match, and they were doing High Street. The CSA side knocked the Union into breaking fairly quickly, as they do on that map, and the CSA team refused to cap the point because they were just trying to bury Union in kills, which you can't blame them for it. But then the admin ended the round after like a minute or two of it. There is a recording of the debrief afterward. It is one of the funniest things I've ever listened to. Because you got dudes screaming in a call, arguing about if someone should have ended the round early. Which the Union side was like, our people hated it, we were just there dying, it wasn't fun, you guys could end the round, why didn't you do it? And then the other side was like, it's the map, we had the chance to get kills, we're going to take it for the sake of the campaign. Why aren't we going to do that? It's well within the normal gameplay. Anyways, I think it's stupid to end a round early. That's for sure.
Yeah,
But,
I agree.
It is. It's a funny voice call.
Oh, there's something to be said, I guess, for fighting.
cap again.
just like there. Yeah, exactly.
We're gonna go
That's-
an hour and a half. We're gonna go honestly an hour 40. You're saying
There's
sorry.
something to be said, I think, for really wanting to stomp the enemy. When you got him in breaking, but you're like, you know what? Let's shoot him in the last stand. Don't leave anything to chance. I've done that when it's a close game. Say it's like breaking, and as attackers, I don't want to risk losing a ticket advantage, like especially towards the end of the match where it could put me in the final push, and because you always want defenders to go into last stand first, kind of give you that little extra time buffer. So like for that purpose, absolutely, I'm cool with not just immediately capping when it hits breaking. I think oftentimes COs, especially in pubs, they panic at the defenders as soon as they hit breaking. They just go, oh crap, and then conversely, the attackers, they just go immediately, we have to cap point. They're on breaking.
Right.
It's all situational. It's like,
Well,
well, maybe it is a good idea to go immediately and get to the cap when you're breaking. Or maybe it's prudent to wait a second, see what the enemy does. See if they overreact, like I'd said before, where they're like, oh crap, get to the cap zone, because then they do that, and they make a mistake, you surround them, you kill them, and you win. Right? But it's all about the timing.
Nah, it's black and white. You hit breaking, you charge. No.
You hit breaking, you charge the point. It's that simple.
You can't. There's no other way to play the game, frankly. I will say it's the one thing that kind of sucks about having one public server is that at most you have 8 officers infantry-wise, and generally when you only have 8 of them, the same people are generally going to take the rules because they know what they're doing. New people,
Yeah.
I don't know what happens when new people officer, but I assume it ain't always the greatest experience because when I first officered in pubs, it was not very fun for me anyways. But this game needs a couple more servers so that we can get more people officering and doing that stuff. It's, yeah.
I actually, funny enough, I actually really enjoy when it's later at night and there's not a crap ton of people on, and you kind of get some kind of throwback games where it's maybe 75 v 75 or 80 v 80, kind of around that range where the population used to be. And I mean, remember, and I have to kind of remind myself of this sometimes.
Yep.
We used to play this game not with 4 officers and not with 4 companies, but 2. We had 2 flags, 2 companies. And on top of it, it was 10-second spawn timers in formation. So, you had to wait a long time if there's a lot of guys spawning flag. I mean, I remember times where we'd say, all right, if there's like 6 people on the flag, spawn main, because you'll get there faster. Because that's literally, you'd be waiting a minute on the spawn timer.
Yeah.
But it's kind of fun to play the old numbers because the tickets adjust, right? It's scaled by how many people are in the match. And you kind of feel like there's some maps as defenders, you have a better chance, actually, because, your tickets are scaled a little better, or vice versa, where, you're attackers. And you feel like, hey, I feel like I've got more to work with because even though, somebody may get wiped, we didn't lose as many people or as many tickets. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, I think that's the side effect of the increased server popped. Increased server pop is an amazing thing, especially for private events. But when you get the option to play a 500-man server, it's really hard to go back at times. At least for me. So
Yeah, for sure.
yeah, I don't know if Union's gonna retake this. Honestly, they haven't tried.
Well, there's an opportunity for them to, and CSA is kind of leaving it wide open. Like
They are. They're like, we're winning the shootout. We can just keep doing this all day.
Yeah.
The longest War of Rights round I ever played was a Cook's Countercharge match. I have a video of it, but not the whole round because I cut out the quote-unquote boring parts. But Cook's Countercharge, CSA played very conservative. and we as Union just turtled right away. So what happens is the CSA attack, they would just sit and shoot us for a while, not get a lot of kills, eventually cap the point. And then us as a defender would just walk out, retake the point. CSA did not try to defend the point, so we were just able to retake it instantly. And so we just did this back and forth for an hour and 12 minutes. Union ended up winning the game. It was a lot of fun, but it was insane to think about every once in a while. Got some charging
some
on the
action.
part. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. Exactly. Yep. HL.
Oh, my
HL
goodness.
getting in there on PB and JD, but then here comes the reinforcements from 42nd PA.
CSA's letting Union retake.
Yeah, they're doing it again. There's. Yep.
I truly can't blame CSA, but
No.
for the sake of the campaign,
Oh, to me though, like if you're Union, like at this rate, you may as well just let them have it.
Right,
Like, all
'cause-
right, we've been doing this whole time. I mean,
seriously though,
Ugh.
I don't know if there's any rules against it, but like if I'm Union, you know you're probably not going to win this map. What's the point of going in and just delaying this? Maybe they think they're going to get sufficient kills on the CSA, but normally that's not how it works.
no.
Wow, you bitch. Watch out. Fuck you, you goonies.
Get in, get in.
Maybe they'll listen if you explain to them that, hey, you're making my video too long. I'm going to lose viewers because people don't want to watch a 2-hour-long World Rights video.
The thing is, the longer the event takes, the longer it takes to upload it.
That's true. That's true. So, yeah, I guess usually
actually-
like, on the SSL ones, you upload it by, maybe midnight, same day, or maybe a little bit before. But
We'll
I guess
try
if it's
to.
long enough, it's long enough, it may come up like 3, 4 in the morning. I'm not staying up that late to watch a
I'm not
DLA
staying up that
video.
late either. If I can't get it up by then, I'm going to bed, and it's going out in the morning. My goodness. Anyways,
I have stayed up till midnight before to catch one of yours that I wanted to watch it. I was like, all right, I want to
appreciate
see
it.
how we did. So,
Union's by, anyways, match is cooking here. Union is kind of picking CSA apart. There was one CSA on the plane, I think 15th Alabama DB that got wiped. They did get the flag out. Nice on Chris' part. But you can see the whole Union team is just kind of collapsing in on them. They're all together, sorry. And they're all pushing one of these sides. Half the CSA team is just out, kind of doing nothing at this point. And Union's trying to defeat in detail. Which, honestly, if CSA is going to play this game, part of me really wants Union to pull off a win, because it'd be really funny.
it
if
would
that
be
happened.
hilarious, yes.
But
I feel like HL has been at the front of every one of these charges we've seen. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like I see him every single time. Now CS, like, they're just running away.
there's some close shooting near point.
Yeah,
CSA
and
is
the
gonna get the
trade over
flags
there is
back.
going well for CSA. I just, it's so funny. Like you're watching where half the team is fleeing, getting shot in the back, and they're the ones that are winning.
Yep.
What?
That's why you play Maryland Heights, where the tickets are even.
Yeah.
Apparently they're even. I was surprised to see that.
Yeah, they're dead even. However, I feel like I never see USA win that map.
We got charging in the center.
Yeah, there you go. Yep,
See,
this should
look at
be a good
that.
fight in here.
Union, for the most part, they're all moving this way, and they're just defeating the CSA in detail. Again, they're still losing on tickets, but,
They're killing them.
Hey guys,
I wouldn't be surprised if by the end of this, at least the number of casualties overall was maybe even favoring Union. But Union may have killed more of CSA by the end of this. Ticket-wise, no, obviously.
War Rights betting when.
Yeah, right. Where's the over-under, underdog? Underdog fantasy, you want to get in on some war rights action? I got the hookup.
Only people who would bet would be the people playing the game, and that would be
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, some Pete Rose antics. I always bet on the 6LA to win every time.
SSL just becomes a rematch every week because someone purposely throws, but they win the betting. It's
Oh, people throw all the time. What are you talking about? Look at Red. Red throws every single match. He admits it too.
We have to rematch the whole season too. I'm sorry. Union's almost going to hit breaking, and if they do, that means CSA can't early cap. They'll just cap and win at that point. But
They can wait 17 minutes 35 seconds though.
They can do a shootout for that long.
Ugh.
This is why you play aggressive at the beginning of the round, whether it be early capping or just charging. you have a lot of time to kind of do what you want. You can adjust if you want. So Union hits braking. CSA can't early cap at this point, but again, they can shoot it out for. Oh, I got a message.
Oh yeah.
So one of my frontline reporters had to go.
Oh, okay.
So I just got to switch stream
I
here.
could get in there for you.
We got Jam
in there,
here.
Coach.
We got Jam here from CQB replacing Doug. Appreciate that. Honestly, what's the server pop even? It's still 250. So I mean,
Yeah.
honestly, I don't blame someone if they had to leave because
Yeah.
it's
for real.
an hour 45 since the event started. Holy crap.
We got Yanks coming from the northeast, bro. We got Yanks
But
coming.
Union does wipe CSA. They do get one. Never mind. That's a Union flag. That's down. I am a
Yep.
bit brain dead there. 42nd and 30th still up here. Some 12th VA as well. And you got some Union moving down from main spawn. HL. CSA. They could charge in and collapse if they want, but my goodness, they're going to draw this out.
Yeah, I really wanted HL to charge in over here on that east side. I really wanted them to go in
CSA
there.
didn't
Yeah,
see 'em.
These guys, yeah, exactly, and they're right down the side of their line. They've been so good on like every charge they've done. They could be outnumbered. These guys are always looking to get into the fight. I'd really like to see that.
The 42nd, 30th is pulling back, but Union should be able to get their down flag. The last time I saw Maryland Heights, it was a public match earlier this year. The Union team lost the initial charge and then sat in their main spawn and did nothing for the rest of the game. They protested. They just went swimming.
Oh man.
Which I'm surprised. I'm not surprised, but I'm surprised that I haven't seen Maryland Heights once in a private event since the new year.
It's, I don't know. As someone that's played it both sides, I think the last time we played it, we ended up playing Union, and it's just, I don't know. There's something that's really kind of nice and unpredictable about it. You know, because you don't know where the enemy is until they're already up on you. But it can feel like such a slog when you're running uphill for most of the game.
It'd be kind of cool if Union spawned at that, or main spawn was at that overlook area.
Yeah. You know, I had this idea the other day where, you know, maybe we don't, get new maps all the time. Because as the devs are a little bit slow on releases. Granted, the drill camp ones have been pretty good. What if you had different control areas on the maps? So, like, say on this map, for instance, say the cap zone wasn't where it is. Say it's further down the road, southwest. And so you kind of move the borders over.
Yeah.
You know, you kind of use the same map, you just use different parts of it. Or say it's like in the forest here to the northwest, kind of where CSA gathers. And then you just move the CSA spawn further west. You move the USA spawn, I don't know, maybe up northeast somewhere. Just kind of converge, kind of weird. But, you have the maps. Why not kind of shift it up a little bit?
You sound like you're playing Hella Loose.
Yeah.
I mean, they do that in Hella Loose. It's pretty nice.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Yeah, exactly.
CSA are spamming in the text chat to not cap point. They are going to shoot the Union down in the last stand. And again, Union's all balled up again.
Yeah.
Dude, the casualties better be... What do you think the casualties are going to be at the end of this? Total.
Well, for the length of time, for how much shooting's been going on, how much charging, I mean, total casualties, it's got to be over 2,000 at this rate. I know it's not a max pop server, but for all the dying that's happening, like it's got to be over 2,000.
4,000. I'm going to say
four.
that.
Woof. It's a lot of deaths.
It's title worthy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I will say, I was going to mention it earlier when you were mentioning the video retention rate. The average viewership of the videos is like 7 minutes long.
Yeah.
Which makes sense.
That seems right.
Normally a video will, at least a video that does well, which for this channel is about 1,000 to 2,000 views on a broadcast, it usually starts off at like 14 minutes average watch time because people hop on, they watch the majority of the round, and then it starts getting pushed to other places, and then other people watching it. It goes down to that 7-minute mark, but that's a nice system.
Yeah.
But Union's going to hit last stand in a second. And I assume CSA is just going to keep shooting this out.
Now, like, just looking at the positions on the map, would you ever think this would be, like, breaking to last stand? Like, CSA is on the Union part of the map. Union's defending towards their own spawn.
Oh, what is going on? My goodness. They're getting the schoolhouse experience.
Yeah, and by the way, we've been kind of glossing over it. 12th VA has still been skirmishing with the artillery on the north side this entire time.
Oh, that's amazing.
I don't think they didn't even bring a flag over there. They just take an officer and like 8 people, and they've just been killing the artillery guys over and over again.
There we go. You know, have you been to Harper's Ferry before?
I haven't.
So the Union spawn here, I was so looking forward to going to Harper's Ferry and going up here and overlooking it. That's all trees.
It's all trees now.
Yeah.
Figures. Figures.
It's still a
lot of
beautiful town.
battlefields that are like that. Like I've been to Chickamauga, I've been to Shiloh, and the good thing about it is like there were trees there at the time. It's just there were less of them.
Ah. They
Or
need.
sometimes there are more of them. You know.
They should
Just
really
depends on
keep
which
them
part.
historically accurate. They need the historically accurate trees. How dare they?
Yep.
No, I actually love my KFC in the middle of Pickett's Charge in Gettysburg.
Yeah.
Which there is one there. It's kind of funny. Or McDonald's, I don't remember.
Oh, man, that's funny.
It's on the Union side of things. Anyways, Union main spawn's charging in. Archer, any thoughts for this round as CSA finally gets a victory?
You know, it's good to see the 6LA flag fly high. It's sitting there right on your point right now. A little tattered, but nonetheless victorious. It took a very roundabout way to get to it for campaign purposes. And love it or hate it, CSA played this pretty well, all things considered. They got wiped the one time, but you know, you make a few mistakes, I guess. But overall, it's entertaining. If nothing else, talking to you. So.
Yeah, no, this was a fun talk. I was kind of thinking, it's like we have these podcasts that we do on the channel, but it's like sometimes they're just the broadcast. If I have a co-commentator on like this, we just go right off and talk about whatever, and it's a beautiful thing. But yeah, no. CSA made one mistake. Oh my goodness, this looks cool.
With the sun barely over.
Yeah, wow.
Nice and cinematic.
But yeah, CSA, as you just said, they had one mistake, but it didn't really hurt them in the grand scheme of things. Holy crap, this looks cool. Wow. Anyways, yeah, good job, CSA Union. I mean, not a whole lot you can do. I'm intrigued to see these cows do, but thank you all for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. If you want to support the channel more, go beneath the video and hit the join button. By doing so, you can get a live stream of all the broadcasts we do. You can advertise your regiment in the bottom of our videos and get an additional broadcast per week. Besides that, though, we have our Discord and our Clips channel, which is the daily shorts if you like those. We have a new channel for that. We're not doing them on this channel anymore, but I appreciate you all. Could not do this without you guys. And our casualties... 1776 on Union. That's beautiful. Almost 3,000. We'll see you in the next one.